Matrix multiplication is seemingly a pretty chaotic sort of experience, but hopefully after this video it explains it, and you'll understand exactly what's going on. And once you get matrix multiplication, you really can't, you just can't get it wrong. So let's do this first example here, and to work out whether matrix multiplication is defined, what we do is we write the orders of the two matrices that we're multiplying together. Now that determines whether matrix multiplication is defined, because what we're looking for when we multiply matrices is the number of columns in this matrix here, that is, it has 3 columns. We want it to equal the number of rows in the matrix that we're multiplying by. So in this case here, matrix multiplication is defined, so we know it will work. Now these outer two numbers, this one here and this one here, actually tell us the resulting order of the product matrix. So I know that once these two matrices together are multiplied together, I'm going to get a 1 by 3 matrix in return. Okay, so let's write it up and do the multiplication. So I'll rewrite the matrices down here. We're going to 2, 3, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 2. Okay, so there's a number of methods to do it. Well, really there's one way to multiply matrices, but a number of ways people are taught. And the method I like the best is to think about run and dive. I'll explain it that way, and then I'll explain it another way. So I know that I'm about to get a 1 by 3 matrix in return, so that sort of determines how I kind of write my product matrix. I know I'm going to get 1 row and 3 columns. So I'm just going to write a nice long one here, because I'm going to need to fill in a fair few numbers across here. Alright, so what we're going to do is this matrix here we're going to run across, and this matrix here we're going to dive down. Okay, now the first thing is we're going to get the element that goes in this position here. This is position 1, 1. We could get position 1, 2 if we wanted, or position 1, 3 if we wanted. So they're the elements that I'm after. The element that's in position 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. Now I just need to erase that. Where's the eraser? Is that it? So let's get rid of that. Now the way I get the element that's in position 1, 1 is I run the first row and dive the first column. And this is the method it works. This is the method that we use. I go 1 times 2. That element there times that element there. And then we add 2 times 0 plus 1 times 1. So you can see what I've done. I've gone across that, or run that, and dived that. So just to do something different, I'm going to get the element that's in position 1, 3 next. So again, what I'm going to do is run the first row and dive the third column. And that gives me the element that's in position 1, 3. So we'll go 1 times 1 plus 2 times 0 plus 1 times 2. Alright, now let's get this middle element here, the element that's in position 1, 3. So that is found by multiplying or running this row and diving this column. 1 by 3 plus 2 by 1 plus 1 by 0. Alright, I typically then write some numbers up the top here. 2 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1, that's 3 plus 2, and 1 plus 2. So our elements are 3, 5, and 3. And just to double check, we've got a 1 by 3. We knew that that would happen. So there's my first example. Now another method I've seen a lot of people use is actually using their fingers to do it. Right, so if you can imagine, I can't really show you how I'm doing it with my fingers here, but if you can imagine me putting 3 fingers, like my ring finger, middle finger, and pointer over these 3. And what you then do is rotate your fingers. So you use the same fingers but shift them over so that they can go down there. Okay, and what you'd be doing here is multiplying row 1 by column 1, and that's going to go in position 1, 1. Then you're going to go row 1 by column 2. That goes in position 1, 2. And row 1 by column 3, and that goes in position 1, 3. So I've seen many people do that using their fingers. It's not a different method, it really is the same thing as run and dive, but it's just a nice visual way of doing it. Alright, let's do this second example now. So we've got a 3 by 3 here and a 3 by 1 matrix. So what we're going to get as a result, so the number of columns in this one here matches the number of rows in this one here, and we're going to get a 3 by 1 in return. Alright, so let's do it. 1, 0, -1, -1, 1, and 0. Oof, this is not pretty. Let's have another go at it. Let's write it a bit bigger. 1, 0, -1, -1, 1, and 0. 0, -1, and 1. Now we're multiplying that by 2, 3, 4. So again, the fact that I know the output will be a 3 by 1 matrix means that this needs to have 3 rows and 1 column. So I can make a longer one this time. Alright, so let's do it. We're going to run this row and dive this column. We're going to run row 1, dive column 1. So this element is going to go into position 1, 1. But let's vary it up and say that we're going to run row 2, dive column 1. That's going to go in position 2, 1, or in the middle here. So we'll go -1 times 2 plus 1 times 3 plus 4 times 0. Alright, now let's do row 3, column 1. That goes down here in position 3, 1. 0 times 2 plus -1 times 3 plus 1 times 4. Alright, let's get this first one. It's found by running this row, the first row, and diving the first column. 1 times 2 plus 0 times 3 plus -1 times 4. So let's work it out. We've got 2, take 4 there. We've got -2 plus 3 there. We've got -3 plus 4 there. So that's -2, 1, and 1. Okay, and again you can use the fingers trick if you want. Okay, where put your 3 fingers across there, rotate your hand and run it down there. So you go, it's that multiplied by that, row 1, column 1, row 2, column 1, or row 3, column 1. Okay, let's try this one now. So we've got a 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. It's a really common multiplication that you'll have to do. So it's a 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Matrix multiplication is defined because the number of columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. The result will be a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so I'm going to do this nice and big. Now again, we're going to run and dive, or you can use the hand method. I'm going to get this element here. This element here is position or row 2, column 1. Okay, so that's the first one I'm going to get. Now, in knowing that it needs to go in row 2, column 1, tells me which columns I need to, or which rows and columns I need to run and dive. So I'll need to run the second row and dive the first column to get this element here. Run 2 and dive column 1. So it's -1 times 0 plus 4 times 1. Alright, now I'm going to get this element here. This is in row 1 and column 2. So I'm going to run this row here and dive this column. 3 by 0 plus 2 times, no, I've just messed that up. Three times -1 plus 2 times 2. So you see how I do it in what you might think is a bit of an illogical order, but it's just again me sort of saying it doesn't really matter how you get it out. But typically if I'm multiplying matrices, I'll go across and across. So I'll go 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1 and 2, 2. But it doesn't really matter what order you do them in. Alright, now I'm going to get position 1, 1. That's 3 by 0 plus 2 by 1. And this one here, 2, 2. Run the second row, dive the second column. -1 times -1 plus 4 times 2. Alright, that's 2, -3 plus 4, 4, and that one is 1 plus 8. So the result is 2, 1, 4, and 9. Alright, so hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Let's do one more. So here we've got a 3 by 3 and a 3 by 2. Okay, so matrix multiplication is defined because the number of columns in this one here is equal to the number of rows in this one here. Also, I know that I'm going to get a 3 by 2 in return. So let's write them up. Okay, so I'm going to go methodically this time, and I'm going to run the first row, dive the first column. So we're going to go 1 times 1 plus 1 times -2. I know I don't need to do this last one because that's 0 times 3, and 0 times 3 is 0, so I'm not going to actually write that in. So you can see now, once you start to get confident with what you're doing, you can start making some choices about what you're actually going to multiply, whether there's any need for it. Alright, now I'm going to grab this element here. I do that by running this first row, diving second column. 1 times 2 plus 1 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0. So that's all I'm going to do for that one, is just 1 times 2. Alright, second row, first column, right here. 2 times 1 plus -1 times -2 plus 1 times 3. Alright, let's go again. Second row, second column. I'm not going to do -1 times 0, I will do 1 times 1. Okay, third row, first column. 0 times 1 is 0, so I'm not going to do it. 1 times -2 plus 2 times 3. Alright, and row 3, column 2. 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1. Okay, so let's quickly work out what we've got here. We've got 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. 2, we've got 2 plus 2 plus 3, which is 7, 4, and 5. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4 and 2. So the product matrix is 7, 5, 4, and 2. Alright, so there you have it with matrix multiplication. In further mathematics, you'll think that, yeah, I've got this calculator, so why do I need to be able to do all of this sort of stuff? But it's really important you can do this for many reasons, but VCAR will always test your understanding, so really important you understand how to do the multiplication.